let's talk about 3D printing. 3D printing is where you have a ton of filament feeding through an extruder into a print bed that basically allows you to print anything that you'd like to have, as long as you have the model or design for it. I would love to include more shots of 3D printing, maybe even include some inside some of the videos that I create. The problem is 3D printing takes on average about 6 to 7 hours per print, depending on the size of the print that you're currently trying to do. So of course you're trying to create this 3D printing image and make it look absolutely fantastic. However, 3D printing is a very expensive hobby, to a point. First of all, you're going to buy the 3D printer. Now the 3D printer isn't the best, isn't the most cheapest of things to buy. You could be buying something that could be really expensive and top of the range, top of the line, but at the same time, you could be buying something really cheap. Now, why would you go expensive over cheap, and why would you go cheap over expensive, and why don't you just go straight bang in the middle? Well, I have the Creality Ender 3 Neo. That is my 3D printer of choice. The reason why that is because it's kind of very bottom range of the whole pricing structure. The only problem with it is I have to manually level the bed every single time to get the print to print off exactly correctly. If it doesn't, the print can fail. You can lose an amount of filament that you put into the printer in like 3.5 seconds, just because your printer has failed throughout this whole time. So how do we resolve this situation? Well, a lot of the time you have to manually level the bed. Now, some people will say to me, get a little extractor on the side that basically levels the bed every single time you print. Absolutely perfect, apart from mine doesn't always level the bed, and you still have to do the manual leveling every single time. Now, I've been told there is plenty of other different 3D printers that come completely in its own box, and you never have to level anything yourself. So that type of thing, superb. Why don't we use that? The problem is you're looking at about £3,000, £4,000 for some of the printers. Now, when it comes to filament, they come in at about £30 per roll, which is superb. You can get quite a lot of prints out, especially if you've got tons of little small prints that you want to print off, because that 30 kilogram roll that you've just got costs for about 30 quid. Each type of print that you do can come out at about 15 odd p for a print, sometimes even smaller. You can even get something that is less than a penny to print, which is superb.
You want to know more about 3D printing? Check out MakerDeck Live on Twitch 24/7 at any point, day or night, no matter where you live in the galaxy. You can watch people making. Making what? Well, right now, a whole bunch of different things. And by the time you look at MakerDeck, the things that are being made will be completely different. Like, you might see me making another one of these flexible stormtroopers that also happens to be able to stand on its own if it's going to not make a liar out of me. Check that out. I've also 3D printed these stormtroopers. Oh, I 3D print a lot of Star Wars stuff personally, but as you can see behind me or in front of you, people make all sorts of stuff, not just Star Wars related stuff. So check it out live 24/7 on Twitch. You've got questions about 3D printing, we've got answers.
Now, of course, printing everything that you want to print off is fantastic, and being able to print something off is brilliant. However, there may be something that there is no model out there for. There may be something that there's no design that someone has come up with. That's where you need to use tools. 3D creating software. Blender, of course, is completely free, that you can export into an STL file that allows you to print this 3D print completely fantastic in exactly the way that you want it to print. You just got to remember to make sure you get the dimensions exactly correct, and you've got to measure those things out. That's where you need a pair of calipers, which are basically precise measuring tools. So overall, would I recommend getting into the 3D printing whole thing? In all honesty, the answer is hell yeah, do it, because it is one of the most fantastic hobbies that you can do. In all honesty, you have something you want to print off, maybe you want to fix something for something else, you can print off that part rather than pay 15, 20, 40, 60 quid on a piece of part that probably costs only about £1 to print. It's just the whole case of making sure you get that bed level enough so it all goes well. I definitely would recommend printing. Hey, why don't you like this video? See you guys next time. Bye-bye.